right. So that one was pretty weird, to be honest. The Vancouver Canucks have finally won themselves a hockey game, and honestly, I don't know what it is. It doesn't really feel super, amazing, right? Am I the only one that just kind of feels pretty meh about that? It's kind of weird because it was Thatcher Demko's first regular season NHL shutout, which is amazing, but at the same time, I think the fact that this game was 3-0 for so long kind of had this weird effect on me, because as I was watching this entire game, I was just kind of thinking, okay, when's it gonna happen? When's the collapse gonna happen? When are the Canucks gonna lose this one again, like they did the Edmonton game where they were up 3-0, then they lost 4-3? I was just kind of, in my head, subconsciously waiting for it, but no. The Canucks in this one pull out all the big stops, they have swag, they have motivation, and they actually come out here as a desperate team that needed to get something done because of where they are in the standings, and they pulled off a win. Now, the big question is whether or not we're going to be able to see that happen again tomorrow against the same Winnipeg Jets team, but this one, all in all, was a Thatcher Demko show, and I think that probably has a lot to do with my disposition at the same time as well, because this Winnipeg team just had so much time on attack. They had the puck consistently, and they were out there getting chances, getting opportunities, but the bounces just didn't go their way. I think if you play this game like 10 times, the Winnipeg Jets have a goal in like 8 out of the 10 simulations you do of this game. But either way, maybe that's just my super pessimistic Canucks fandom coming out, because, we were used to this team losing in this 2021 season, that I don't even know how to react anymore when the team wins. But either way, it's a 4-0 win here, and we had a lot of firsts in this one that I think are pretty important to actually take a look at here. So this game started out pretty cold, not gonna lie. It was kind of evenly matched. It was kind of boring. Both teams were out there just kind of playing even hockey either way. It was like that for about 8 minutes, where both teams were just kind of going back and forth, not really doing much. But then at around the 8-minute mark, we had ourselves a Jets 2-on-1. It was Wheeler and Scheifele. Wheeler, I thought he was going to shoot it, but nah. He ends up sending it over to Mark Scheifele, and he misses the pass, so thank goodness gracious. Then, just a few seconds later, Brandon Sutter sends it over to Nate Schmidt in the offensive zone. He shoots it. It bombs on net off of a Jet stick, and he scores. It's 1-0 Vancouver. Nate Schmidt's out here legitimately starting to get production going on underway, which is something that a lot of Canucks fans, when he was acquired back in the offseason, have been expecting out of this guy. So it's Sutter who sends it over, and that's good because Sutter finally has an assist. Yeah, his first assist on the year. How crazy is that? For a guy in Brandon Sutter who has been out here getting so many goals, he has finally gotten an assist, and that is what people have been looking for, because the bottom 6, up until this point, hadn't really done much in terms of the offensive production. They also award Adam Gaudette an assist as well, so that is his first assist on the year too. This guy was absolutely snake-bitten for a good part of this season, so good to see Adam Gaudette put himself on the board there. Then you give it a few seconds later, literally like the very next shift, it's Petey who gives it over to Schmidt, who bombs it on net again. This time it's off of Miller's stick, who deflects it down, and he scores. So JT Miller gets his 5th goal on the season, Nate Schmidt with 2 points in the span of about 18 seconds, and Elias Pettersson gets an assist as well. JT Miller gets his 20th point on the year, so good milestone for him. He is the 3rd Vancouver Canuck to reach 20 points on the season. Then the Vancouver Canucks go on the power play a few minutes later, and the first power play absolutely cannot get anything done. They can't break it in, and so the second unit comes out with a few seconds left in the man advantage. Gaudette sends it over to Myers, who shoots. He bombs it on net, but it's off of Nils Hoglander's stick, and he scores. So it's 3-0 Vancouver, and the second power play gets their very first goal on the year. Is it their first goal on the year? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is, but if it isn't, then somebody will probably correct me in the comments below. But this second power play has had absolutely no production, especially compared to the first power play. All the Canucks stuff going on in the man advantage, yeah, it's always the first unit that gets the goals. So the second unit finally getting themselves on the board here. Gaudette with his 2nd assist on the season and 2nd assist of the night. Great to see him out there. Tyler Myers with the shot, of course, so he's got 9 assists on the year, and Nils Hoglander with his 4th goal as well. More on him later. The second period gets off, and that same Adam Gaudette, who was awarded the 2 assists in the first period, he gets a penalty at the start of the period. Demko is the real star of the penalty kill over here, as he is forced to make some pretty key saves. The Canucks got some good rushes afterwards, while Demko was out there still making saves. But the big highlight of the second period was when Nils Hoglander went behind the net in the offensive zone, tried cutting out on the far side, and you can see him do the lacrosse move. But the angle is too tight and the puck bobbles off of his stick. He's trying it, man. He is out there trying it. It's just that it did not work. This was the first time on the season, I think, where Hoglander has tried that little move. So he's 0 for 1 so far. I'm honestly just really anticipating when it happens. But throughout this time in the second period, I'm kind of watching the game and I'm thinking to myself, you know, they're actually playing pretty well. I kind of just have it in me to expect something terrible, like a huge 3-goal comeback for the Jets and the Canucks losing in regulation like we saw the Edmonton game, just kind of inherently. But if the Canucks keep up the way they're playing, honestly, they're doing a pretty good job. Demko's being really nice. The Jets are out here getting some chances, but the Canucks are deflating them. So, you know what? It's not all that bad. The Jets on the other side, though, they were getting really fancy with their opportunities. A few give-and-goes and a few one-too-many pass-type plays where they had good opportunities at the net, but they just refused to shoot and pass it off to the other guy instead, trying to go for the fancy play. It's almost like they had a few goals that could have happened if they just shot it a little bit more. But in the third period, we had ourselves a little bit of a different energy here as Pierre-Luc Dubois gets changed up from wing to center. It's Stasny getting swapped around, and you see the Jets actually trying to get some desperate measures on there. Demko quite literally kicked things off with a good save on the rush as he has to extend the pad on a very good chance. Nathan Beaulieu took a bad penalty on Jake Virtanen about 6 minutes into the third period, and the Jets get a 3-on-1 shorthanded chance, but Pionk shot it wide. That's kind of what I'm talking about here, the bounces, you know? Just the puck luck in general wasn't really favoring Winnipeg in this one, and don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about that for sure. It's just kind of how I observed the game, you know? Like, the Jets were out here with some opportunities, but they just couldn't really capitalize on what they were given, especially in the shorthanded unit when the Canucks power play was looking real bad. Demko also had to make some saves on Wheeler afterwards in tight point blank. And, you know, the Canucks at this point just kind of start playing the structural game. They're looking to break off passing lanes, they're cutting off rushes. They're just playing pretty efficient hockey, and even though some chances do squeak over to Demko at this point, and some really grade A chances too, Demko is there to make the stop, and then with about 5 minutes left, I think, the Jets pull the goalie. And while they have the 6-on-5, the Jets, with a shot far out, it goes off the post, and Kyle Connor gets the rebound, stopped by Demko after it hits Jordy Ben out in front. So there's another example of the puck luck really not going the Jets' way here. Elias Pettersson then scored on the empty net after blocking a pass in his own zone. Honestly, I kind of had some Patrick Stefan vibes as Pettersson was going towards the goal here, and then once it went in, I was like, okay, kind of sigh of relief there. Elias Pettersson has his 20th point on the year as well. That's his 9th goal on the season. He is the 4th Canuck to 20 points this year, which is absolutely incredible because the Canucks are the first team in the league with 4 20-point guys. It was Hughes and Boeser before tonight. Miller and Petey reached the mark today. So, you know what? It's kind of funny how this team is still on pace to being worse than that 2017 team, as we noted a few videos ago in a previous week. But the Canucks are in a spot where even though they're down there in the standings, they're still getting points out of the guys that we want to see getting points. And now if you take a look at the standings, because Ottawa won against Calgary earlier today, both the Sens and the Canucks are out here in the North Division as the last 2 teams who do have a win attached to their name. The Canucks are 2 points back of the Calgary Flames. The Flames have 2 games in hand. Montreal is 3 points ahead of Vancouver, but of course the Canucks have 5 more games played, which is quite huge when you think about it. But the Canucks are indeed in that pretty tight-ish bottom 4 spot in the division because Montreal, Calgary, Vancouver and now Ottawa, they're only separated by 6 points, and you take a look at the top 3 guys, hey, the Jets have a 4-point lead on Montreal, so there certainly is a lot to look forward to, I guess, but you know what, the big Canucks swag came out here today with a very nice Thatcher Demko shutout. He was really good in this one, and he definitely was a big part in the Canucks win tonight. So we'll see if things happen the same way tomorrow as these two teams are playing off again, but in the meantime, let me know in the comments what you thought about this game. I hope you enjoyed this bit of Trolls on I9. And bye.